I did mention that actually I have a good friend, Karini Nugroho, who is in Australia at the moment, and Tracey did mention earlier about the importance of early age education, and Karini and I and some friends in Jakarta actually really involved in the early age education. So Karini, if you have some comments or questions,
please.
Okay,
yes.
thank you, Tracey. I'm Mari's good friend. I'm also thankful for Mari because Mari invited me to join the Zoom. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, rather than talking about the project that I did with Mari on children's education, I would like, of course, to ask Tracey about your experience in flying. Because as you know, I read in many articles that the phobias or fear that most people have, usually it's height or public speaking. And I would like to know from you whether you have any kind of phobia, or maybe height is one of your fear in the first place, but then you conquer it. Do you have any sort of fear, something like that? Because when you talk about what you did, I mean, pilot, flying old aircraft. Usually, you are talking about braveness, yeah, and how we challenge our fear. Do you have any kind of that in the first place when you started your career?
Well, firstly, I started off very young, and I think youth helps, you know, and I was always, I suppose, quite outgoing. I like thrilling stuff, you know, I like adventure, and risk is an inherent part of that. So although there is fear, there's also adrenaline and excitement. And I think of some of the early stuff I did, whether it was rafting expeditions, you know, I spent a day hang gliding in New Zealand when I was 18 and crashed several times, you know, when you're just hanging from a very simple glider. But no, I you know, like any youth, I thought I was immortal, and I tended to, I disregarded risk, if I'm honest. You know, I like the thrill of all that. So I think that's the other side of it. It's exciting. You know, I don't, you know, obviously I do have some fear, but there's something else that takes over. But, you know, when I grew older and more cognizant of things, and certainly when I was, you know, I was in my 50s when I was doing these expeditions. So I'd had 30 years of flying. I had lost several friends in flying accidents. I witnessed several of the accidents because these were air shows, display flying, etc., which is some of the most dangerous flying you can do because it's low level. Again, it's older aeroplanes and so forth. So I'm very, very aware of the risks. But weirdly, it's never stopped me flying.
Yeah.
My fear actually is not doing it, is if I didn't do it, you know, and I sit there in later life and think, God, why didn't I do it? Or why did I allow myself to be intimidated? So that's my fear. It's almost inverse. My fear is not doing things rather than doing things.
Okay. So I
see, you know, actually just about the altitude thing. No, I don't have. Funny enough, I do get a bit of vertigo when I'm in the aeroplane because I fly the aeroplane very low in terms of trying to get the film footage. You know, to fly this aeroplane low to get these spectacular images of flying through mountains, along cliff faces, low over the water. I wanted to give the public a sense of what it's like to fly an aeroplane like this, because there's no footage of the pioneers. And one of the things members of the public always ask me when they see the aeroplane is, what is it like to be in an aeroplane like this? This visceral sense of you know, movement and, you know.
Yeah, I saw a bit of your video when you know when you were flying and you saw some whales.
Oh, yes.
It was very majestic.